Today we're going to talk about strategic planning and marketing's role in the strategic planning process. The objectives of today are to first of all explain company-wide strategic planning and how companies develop growth strategies, and then look at marketing's role in the strategic planning process. We'll look a little bit more about the marketing management process and finally talk about some of the functions and elements that are involved in marketing management. So let's begin by sort of defining what strategic planning is all about. It's a process of developing and maintaining a strategic fit between the organization's goals and capabilities and its changing marketing opportunities. So what you're doing is you're looking at the environment that the organization operates in and looking at the objectives that the organization has and trying to sort of make a fit between here are the opportunities that we have and here are the objectives that we want to accomplish. So most strategic planning begins with an organization's mission statement. And it's a statement of their purpose, what it wants to accomplish in the larger environment. And it should be something that is market-oriented, not product-oriented. In other words, it's not talking about, we want to make these products. It's we want to satisfy these customers. Again, companies operate under a market orientation, and it's all about customer satisfaction, determining what customers want, and then developing a mission statement around that, as opposed to we can make black cars. It's we make cars that help people with their transportation needs. So the steps in the strategic planning process begin by sort of defining the corporate mission statement, and then moving to set the overall corporate objectives and goals, what the organization wants to accomplish. Then the company may design specific objectives and goals for different sort of business units. So a company like General Electric has several business units. They have aircraft engines, they have home appliances, and so what they would do is they would set up they would set objectives for each one of those business units. And they view it as a portfolio, and so you'll often hear companies talking about their portfolio management. And so some of those business units or those parts of the organization may be growing really well, some may be in decline, and so they manage that as a portfolio. And there is some information in the text about various techniques to do that, and one of them is the Boston Consulting Matrix. But we're not going to talk about that today. But that's a way of sort of managing an organization's various units. Then what they'll do is they'll develop sort of strategies for each one of those units. Now, when you hear the word strategy, you think of the word how. Okay? Strategy is how you're going to accomplish those objectives. So remember that. The word strategy, always associated with the word how. Military strategy, how you're going to win the battle. Once the strategy has been set, then what they do is they'll go to various functional areas, marketing, production, finance, and ask them to develop plans that will accomplish the strategies, that will accomplish the overall objectives, or the objectives of the business unit, that will help accomplish the overall objectives of the organization, and finally, its mission statement. So let's take a look at an example. What I have here is a mission statement from WestJet, which is to enrich the lives of everyone in WestJet's world by providing safe, friendly, and affordable air travel. Okay, so it's a fairly general statement, but that's what they're hoping to do as an organization. They then set very specific objectives: revenue, profit, return on investment, return on assets, okay, targets that they want to accomplish as an organization. They then move down and have a particular strategy that they're going to put in place. In other words, how they're going to accomplish those objectives. Their strategy is to offer travelers high-value, affordable product through prudent cost control, high-frequency service, and friendly customer service while offering fares to stimulate air traffic. Now, in fact, this strategy, is different from Air Canada's because they're really focusing on very, very friendly service and prudent cost control. And so what it does is it then gives some guidance to the various functional areas. And so the marketing group would develop a plan that would be able to provide these types of products. And the human resources would develop a plan to hire the type of people to be able to accomplish this strategy. And so it gives some clear direction to the various functional areas. And so the operational decisions would be set in place to help accomplish the overall mission and goals of the organization. So that's the strategic planning process from a corporate perspective. Now, when companies think about planning, and when marketers think about, well, how can we sort of take advantage of various opportunities out there, they look for growth. I mean, some companies, from a strategy point of view, want to keep the status quo. Others, for certain reasons, may want to be shrinking, but most companies are concerned about growing. And so they look at various growth strategies. One way of doing that is something called, is using the product market expansion grid. So what we have on the side are existing markets and new markets, and on the top we have existing products and new products. And so let's run through these and look at how an organization might use this expansion grid. So what they would do is they would start and say, well, let's look at our existing markets and our existing products. Can we do a better job? Can we penetrate that market? Can we work harder to try to get our current customers to buy more products? And so they'll look at that and evaluate that as an opportunity. Then move on and say, all right, let's see if we could take some new products to our existing customers. They seem to be loyal and they're buying products from us. Can we develop some new products for them? And so this is called product development. And here we might think about adding some new products and trying to maybe create one-stop shopping, because they can offer, or we offer several products in this particular area. Another way is to say, all right, well, we've got an existing product. Maybe there are other people that we're not targeting that would like to buy it. For example, moving to another country. Maybe we're selling product in Canada and we'd like to move into the US market. We've already got the product developed. It seems to be satisfying a need. Let's see if we can find another market for it. And then the last one is diversification, looking at a totally new market with a totally new product. And this is probably the most expensive. It requires the most resources because it's looking at sort of two news, developing new product and taking it to an existing customer. The key here is that, yes, it may be a great opportunity and it may really fit with the organization's core competencies, in other words, what it does really well, but the danger is that it might take a lot of management time and take a lot of resources. But companies will generally sort of look at this grid to very simply to sort of evaluate and see what opportunities are out there that they might be able to take advantage of. So let's look more specifically at marketing's role in this planning process. The diagram shows sort of an overall picture of the marketing sort of planning process. In the middle is the target market. Remember, everything starts with the customer. They're central. We always want to begin with the needs and wants that customers have. On the outside are sort of environmental factors, changes in the political, legal environment, in the demographic, economic environment, having to do with technology or in our social or cultural environment. And we'll talk about those in another lecture. And they sort of provide the overall environment that the organization operates in. The next level in are sort of the environment that immediately affects the organization. That's called the microenvironment and has to do with suppliers and competitors and public, various publics, as well as marketing channels. In other words, a manufacturer may sell to a wholesaler who sells to a retailer. Those are considered channel partners. And then inside that is the organization itself and the management process. And we said earlier that managers do four things. They analyze, they plan, they implement, and control. So that process is a cyclic process that goes on. And underneath and inside that are the 4 P's of marketing. So what marketers do is they sort of they analyze the marketing opportunities outside of the organization. They then select various target markets that they're interested in. They develop the marketing mix for that, or the 4 P's for that particular target market, and finally manage the marketing effort to be able to get that product to the customers so that they're satisfied.